Hello and welcome once more to another Learn Sanskrit video, and this time we are doing exercises, and this is actually the second video, second exercise video for lesson 11. The previous one was the basic one, in which we did it's a more simple collection of exercises, and that was a more dedicated just to the lesson itself. But this video here is dedicated to an accumulated collection of all the vocabulary and all the grammar and everything we have covered so far in all of the lessons until now. So this is a more how should I say, more harder. It's a harder, or at least it's less easy or less simple than the first exercise video. And in this video then we will do 6 translation exercises from Sanskrit to English, and 6 translation exercises the other way around. And we will start with the Sanskrit in Devanagari. And we will do actually 4 sheets, because we always, or not always, but mostly we have 4 lines of we have the Devanagari, and then we have the transliteration in Roman characters, and then we have our eswo line, our line of English translation with Sanskrit word order, and then we do the more literary English on another line. So we have 4 lines each for each sentence that we're going to translate. Alright, so let's start by saying, oh, this is not the A. This is the I always call the exercises on this second exercise video, I always call them B. It's a B sheets. So this is B1 sheet for the accumulated exercises. And the previous video we had A1 and A2 sheets. Alright, so then we will have 4 B sheets, since we will only do 3 exercises on this sheet. So we'll start with the first one here, number 1. Atra virah. We have a long E, virah. Arjunaha. And we put the R on the top and the U at the bottom. Na ha. Arjunaha. Okay. Nama. Long A, na, ma. Nama. Sidati. Sa. And it's a long E again. Si. Da. And then we have a short E here, so we're placing it before the consonant T. C dot T. And the end of the sentence. And now, as I usually do, I always write up all the exercises first, all the sort of unsolved exercises, so that you can put this on your own sheet of paper and you can solve them on your own, or try to solve them on your own, before I go on. So you can sort of wait until I have completed all the 4 sheets in this case, and then you can stop the video, and then you can solve the, if you want, I mean, if you like, and then you can just watch the rest of the video after you have tried your best to solve them. At least that's my plan then. So I won't start solving them until I've written up all the first lines here. Asti whoops, that's a little, we always want the stroke go back to that vertical line there. Asti Baalaha Dasharataha Dasha Ra Ta Ha Dasharataha Nama Na Ma Nama. End of sentence. And then we have number 3. So once again, I'm leaving 3 more lines here for my translations. And if you're doing this on a landscape sheet of paper, you should have sort of you should sort of count on that you need some more space. Okay, now number 3. Mrigaha Mri G H Mrigaha Good Jaha Good Jaha Ashvaha oops Ashvaha Cha Dhavanti one whoops, we have to have the stroke for the I must come before the N, like that. Dhavanti. Okay. Mrigah Gajah Ashwah cha Dhavanti. End of sentence. Alright, so that's B1. Let's go to B2. B2. We have, let's see what we have. We have Vayam Prachamaha long amaha Prachamaha Yuyam long u yuyam yuyam chup Smarata Sma Ra Ta, and we'll put that little, whoops, two, I have to leave a little here for the ta here. Smarata. And number 2, atra nrib whoops, nripaham Ramaham Tishtati Ti Shka Ti Tatra Cha Naraha Arjuna Khadati. And we have the long ah here, ka, da, ti. End of sentence. Number 3. Wam. So 2 long ahs. Sounds. Wam. Jut. Ja. Waha. Jawa. You Wow. Long all. Wow. Gotcha to her. Or maybe it's a little misformed there. Okay, maybe a little. No, sorry. Good. Good job. We have a not a retroflex ta here, but a dental one. Ta. Right. Gotcha. Ta. And end of sentence. Okay, so that's B2. Now let's move on to B3. B3. Ugly. Okay, I have to redo that. B3. All right. Sometimes there is a when you using one of these tablet sort of Wacom drawing tablets and using like an electronic pen here. Sometimes the sort of tablet is not aligned properly to the surface, so sometimes the text isn't actually aligned vertically and horizontally to the screen, so sometimes it's well, that's just my explanation. It's not an excuse, of course, but still, after all these years, it's not always easy to align it. Okay, number 1. Let's exercise number 1. Sheet B3. And now we're switching to the English English to Sanskrit. I think this is too small text there. Okay. There is a father called Rama. Rama. Number 2. they two F ask and the teacher knows. Okay. Number 3. Here sits the hero named Arjuna. Named Arjuna. Okay, good. B3 is complete in terms of the definition of the exercises, and then now B4. Okay, I know and she knows and they all F feminine no. Number 2, Rama is a father. A father is a man. And we should know this syntax here if we have watched the videos, the lesson, so-called the lesson video, lesson 11A and lesson 11B. And the idea is here that the translation, I'm requesting, as a teacher here, I'm requesting the student to skip the copula, skip the verb is, and arrange the sentence in Sanskrit according to syntax 2 and according to configuration 2. So this is about nominal constructions, nominal sentences. But we'll talk more about that when we actually are solving it. Alright, so the last sentence to translate into Sanskrit is here. Here we two drink, and there they all, M, as in masculine, they all eat. Alright, so that's the exercises. So if you want to, so I'm now quickly just returning to number 1, and like that, and now so now you can stop the video if you want, and I'm now letting this picture be in 5 seconds, and then I'll do another 5 seconds for B2, and then another 5 seconds for B3, and then another section, another stop for B4. So you can copy them. If you haven't copied them already, you can do so now. This is a good time to copy them. So 5 seconds for B1 here. 5 seconds for B2. 5 seconds for B3. And 5 seconds for B4. Okay, so now we go back to exercise B1 and start solving it. The first thing we should do when we start with the Devanagari, we should always transform it to transliteration in Roman characters. So we have here atra, viraha, and we have a long E here, Arjunaha, Nama, long A, Nama, Sidati, and once more a long E, and then we close our sentence. And as usual, we have our eswo here, English with Sanskrit word order, coming up. So we have here the hero, Arjuna, named, he sits, and now of course in English we have to first of all I have to get my pointer back here. Where is my pointer? There it is. Okay. English. Okay, so then we would have to switch these two here, because in Sanskrit, of course, nama controls. It's an enclitic, so it's sort of glued to the end of the previous word. But in English, we don't say this. We don't say named. We don't say Arjuna named. Possibly we could do a hyphen in the English, but that's also awkward. So the best thing is to flip those, and then of course we have to edit away our hyphens so we get a cleaner looking. So we take away the hyphens, and we take away the hyphens for the nouns in the case here of the hero. But what we are also doing here, as for the verbs at the end, he sits, we will have to adjust that also, because since we have a hero here and we have named him as well, so we know it's a he. This he here, of course, here is superfluous in the real English translation. And the same goes if we have if we were to have a pronoun here. Let's say that we would have a sentence called just atra sah sidati. Here, he as a pronoun, he as a pronoun, and when we have the pronoun he already, then of course we also don't have to have this he. We don't have to expand this down to the real English here. So then similarly we skip the he in he sits. So that's just the way it is in my way of doing things here. So we flip named Arjuna, and then we just clean up the verb to simply sits, and that's it. So number 1 is done. Here the hero named Arjuna sits. And perhaps even if we could do another variant in English, we could move the verb sits right after here if we want. Here sits the hero named Arjuna. Maybe that has a nicer flow in English. I don't know. You be the judge. You do what you want. Okay, so number 2 then. We have Asti Balaha Dasharataha Nama. So we have Asti Balaha Dasharataha Nama. Okay, and so this is an example then of a special usage of asti here. Not asti doesn't work as a verb in this case. Really, it's because so asti here is placed in the beginning of a sentence, and although it technically could have the usual meaning of he is or it is or she is, Many times in the literature you will see uh, in storytelling that it having the flavor of once upon a time there was, or one like that. There is a boy, Balaha here. There is a boy. So it's a special usage of asti here. And there is no sort of, like if asti is a verb, sometimes when we have nominal sentences, for instance, we say that the horse is an animal, for instance, or the frog is green, or something like that. But here we don't have really any possibility of two sort of x equals I. It's not like that. So here the syntax is simply asti on the left hand side, and then everything else on the right hand side. So that's the sort of the distinction here. It's a different syntax. So there is a boy, Dasharatha, named. And once more then we have a usage of nama here, where nama is an enclitic, and nama is also indeclinable. So whatever case this noun has, this proper noun, nama is always stays the same. So there's no other endings of nama. So whether it's genitive or ablative or whatever it is, it's always nama at the end. So okay, so now we have to switch the word order here. So this is as usual eswo here, and then we'll do an English, clean it up a little bit, remove the hyphens. There is a boy, named Dasharatha. And of course in English the usual practice is here, because the question could be raised here, why normally we do whenever we do a noun. Okay, let's start with this. Let's take the word Dasharatha. So normally my sort of default translation of a name, whether it's Rama or Arjuna or whatever, there is no article at all. So we just take the name, and in its sort of clean form, in its dictionary form, without the visarga here, and like that. So Dasharatha. So there's no definite article, there's no indefinite article, there's nothing prior to the D here in the beginning. But for nouns, we usually do the definite article as a sort of like a default translation. However, in this case, since we have this special usage of asti as a initial storytelling sort of thing, there is something here described. Then the definite article probably not is definite, or the article is not a definite article, but an indefinite article, because the one of the rules in English is that whenever we are introducing something that we haven't talked about before, then we should use an indefinite article. So there is something which we haven't talked about, namely a boy. And then that boy or the boy does something, or then we can continue talking about that boy. But first we sort of address him initially as a boy, and then we talk about that boy, or this boy perhaps, or the boy. So this is why, so what I'm saying is simply that in some situations we already know that, or it's likely, or as a default translation it would be it's probable. So if we have asti in the beginning position here, then this probably leads to the indefinite article there. But of course we also have to make sense of exactly what it is, and the circumstances and like that, but still this is at least how I think. Maybe you have a better algorithm for doing that. Alright, so let's move on to number 3. Start with the transliteration here. Mriggaha, Gajjaha, Ashwaha, Ja, Dhavanti. Okay. So the deer. So here I'm using the definite article as my sort of initial attempt, or my default attempt. The elephant, the horse, and the Dhavanti. Okay, they all run. So we see here then that Dhavanti is in the plural. and it is in the plural because 1 plus 1 equals 2, and then another 1 equals 3. So we have 3 nouns, which then qualifies for plural. If we only had 2 nouns, then we would have used the dual form here instead. But now we have 3. The deer, the elephant, the horse, and they all run. And here, of course, we have these ones which we have to switch order. So we have to flip these when we do the final translation. And this is eswo as usually here, as usual. And so we have two possibilities. We can just do a simple and everywhere, or we can be minimalistic here. The deer, the elephant, that's a little too, maybe a P H would be good here. The elephant, either comma once more or just an and here instead. And the horse, run. So that we skip they all, they hyphen, all hyphen. That one also goes away. Alright, so that's the first 3 exercises there. Then move on to B2 here. We are back in black ink. Vayam pritchamaha, long a, yuyam cha smara ta. So in eswo then, we all, what are we doing? We all ask, parichati, we all ask, parichamaha, we all ask, right? Yuyam, you all, and you all remember. Like that. And when we do the English here, we are once more we are cleaning up a little. We are going to flip. Let's see, we're going to flip these two, and then we are going to remove this one here, and of course we're going to remove the hyphens up here also, and then we're also going to remove we all hyphen here, because we already have the pronoun, so we will get rid of that. So then we will get we well, maybe we can actually, we'll keep this here just to keep the hyphen here for the pronouns, and then we'll just a simple ask there, and then and you all, just so that we indicate the I cannot even say it, plurality, the plural feeling of you and the plural feeling of we, as opposed to we two and you two. And then we just say remember here, remember. Of course, in English you can render this only as we, and then maybe you can say you can use some Atlanta, Georgia y'all here instead. Perhaps you could do some y'all. But in terms of like grammar here, I'm not so concerned about editing English here as I'm concerned about being clear what this represents in the Sanskrit. So this is why I'm doing this. So because this way we easily can identify what we really mean in the Sanskrit. So we could start a backwards translation from here and get everything exactly right without wondering about how should this be plural, or should this be just singular, or should this be dual, or what should it be? No, we all and you all is clear enough. Right, so we go to number 2 then. Okay, we have atra nrippahap. Nrippahap. Whoops, I forgot Ramaha. Ramaha. It's a very ugly T. 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 Retroflex S, retroflex T, and tatra cha naraha arjunaha khadati. All right, and then we do the eswo. So here the king Rama. Oh no, of course we should Rama. We should use Rama. He stands there, and Nara, the man, Arjuna is the name, and Khadati is he eats. And of course we see here that cha, just as the word nama, which we talked about before, cha is always never stands in the like a first word in a sentence, because it's enclitic, so it always comes after the word that is to be connected. So so we know that we must flip it, and the flipping is let's see where my pointer, my good old pointer is there, and the man. So here these ones we should flip. And let's see, and then what we should do more, we should remove this, because we already have both a noun, the king here, who does the standing, and then we also have a name, Rama. So he's really is well specified. The subject is really well specified here. So we don't translate that one here in this case in the final English. And let's see here, over to the right here, the man here, and the same of course goes here, that this is also, we cut that out. Alright, so let's do the English then. Oops, whoops. English. Here of course, before I go on here, I actually had a couple of different points which I forgot to mention. Let's go back to red ink. Let's see. Okay, we have, so some words the exact, okay, let me put it like this, that when we're talking about kings, then normally in English we don't have any article at all, actually. So in this case we may skip this one as well here. So we could say King Rama here. But the exact I mean, there's so many points here. There's also the point of what is a king. Is Rama the king of a small village, or is he like a king of the whole continent, India, or like that? I mean, is that the idea? So there are also like contextual things we have to. So maybe it's not really a king, or maybe it's just some kind of village chieftain or chief, or like that, or so that's one thing we could talk about. Another thing we could talk about is what the idea here that there is. Let me change color here. Or do something. Let's take green. We have up here, we could ask the question, why is or in the Devanagari here. So if we talk about the Devanagari up here, then so why isn't here nama? Why isn't it atra nripaha ramaha nama tishtati? And the answer is it could have been, but another way of combining specifying a noun, in this case the nripaha, another way of specifying who that nripa is just to stack the Rama after it. Possibly you could do it also before, but the what I've seen in some of the text right now, I don't exactly remember if you commonly do it before, but I've seen in Sanskrit textbooks that, in some good Sanskrit textbooks, that this syntax with simply omitting the nama. So you first mention the noun, and then you mention the name, and then you skip the nama. That syntax is allowed, or it's well formed according to Sanskrit usage, classical usage. Right. So all right. So we go back to the actual translation. Then here the King Rama stands, and there maybe we should also switch here. Maybe we should do it more literary in English here, or we can just I leave that up to you. I do this for now. And then you can do another step of refining the English and flipping words if you want. Like that. So it's a basic translation. Here King Rama stands, and there the man Arjuna eats. Could have been, and there Arjuna the man eats, but that's maybe not good either. But there are many possibilities always to sort of nudge the sentence into a more literary variant. Okay, good. Now we take number 3. Let's see if we can do this. So we have avam, long a times 2, avam, tyajavaha, ja long a vaha. Short yuam, all right. Sorry for that noise there. My neighbors, they were doing some drilling in the walls here, so all right, so let's get back to our exercise. We are at number 3, and let's see, we have avam tyajavaha yuam wa gachataha, like that. so we too, pronoun avam, and we have the verb we too, abandon, and then we have yuam, you two, pronoun wam, or gachataha. So someone is going. Who is going? You two go, like that. So this is eswo here, and now we are simplifying. In terms of the verb here, we know that we have to cut that because with the pronoun already specifies exactly more who it is. And this is especially, of course, the case if you have like plural, where there is, when you say they two, masculine, for instance, then in the corresponding form of the verb, the verb would be they to abandon. But the pronoun says not only they to, but it says they to masculine, for instance. So the pronoun sometimes specifies even more than what the verb does. So my point here is that the pronoun really does make a job of specifying the subject. Although we do have an implicit subject in the Java here, in this case we too, but still we supply it, not so much because it is a we don't supply it here because it is necessary. We supply it here because we are learning to combine verb forms with pronouns to make that, to get the feel that awam fits together with awaha, with the ending awaha. So we get that into our soul, or we get that into our being, that whenever I think of Tiajavaha or Gachavaha or Tishtavaha, I automatically think about Awam. So it's sort of and similarly, whenever I think about Awam, I think about Avaha. So it's sort of that connection also on a sort of like a more lower level, subconscious almost level, that we want to get down there and establish connections in our neurons, whatever they call the brain tissue and our nervous system. Alright, so back to the grammar then. We too, when we translate, we take away that we too hyphen, and then we keep you too there, and we cut also, we skip this one there. Alright, so then it's fairly simple. Go back to black. We too abandon. And of course we should I forgot to mention that we should also, so the word va, meaning or in English, is has to be flipped. So we have to flip these two here. So it works exactly as cha. In that sense, it's also an enclitic. It's leaning towards the previous word. But in English it is not an enclitic. So that's the problem. Or the problem, but that's sort of the situation that we have to, when we are doing the conversion from Sanskrit to English, we have to adjust for that circumstance. So we too abandon, and now what happened here. Okay. Let's see. We to abandon, or, oops. Aha, I made some strange tool selection there. Okay, Photoshop. Okay. We to abandon, or you to go. So that's the translation. B2. Now let's go on to B3. There is a father called Rama. So now let's convert this to eswo. Eswo here. There is, and now we're contracting, we're grouping the words here to prepare for the Sanskrit, because there is will be one word in Sanskrit, and a father will also be one word in Sanskrit. And then of course we have this usual thing here we call drama. These have to be flipped also. Father Rama. We usually use the word named here just to, because it sounds almost similar to nama. So we're preparing. So we're doing the syntax flip here of these two words, and then we're also how should I say, replacing the word called with the word named, just to get closer to the Sanskrit. So we are narrowing in on the Sanskrit here gradually. Okay, so there is a father Rama named. Okay, and so this is the sort of the first in a sentence syntax. There is, where we should use asti. So asti, and the father is Janakaha, and the name of is Rama, and then we have the nama. Itself. And then the question here could be, okay, but couldn't I just skip the nama here? And the answer is probably yes. You could do that. But the exercise explicitly said so. So if I want, let me put it like this: that if I were to allow you skipping the word nama, then I would have put called like this, or I would have just said there is a Father Rama, or something like that. But I didn't do that. I mentioned this as the word called here. I used that to tell you as a student that I actually wanted a word in Sanskrit for that. Alright, so now we just do the Devanagari here. Well, maybe you're not totally up to speed with that yet, so then for you maybe it's not just to do it, but still I'm hoping that when I'm doing this slowly now and that you easier can get a sense of what should be done here. Get a feel for it. Ra ma ha Rama na ma nama. Okay, asti janakaha Ramaha nama. Number 2. They to ask, and the teacher knows. Alright, so we keep the they to and here is the exact, almost what I talked about previously and on sheet B2, that when we have a pronoun in the plural, we don't when we have a pronoun in the plural or dual, in this case dual here, in third person, I mean, if when we have using the third person variant here, whether it's singular, whether it's plural, or whether it's dual, then we are then the subject here, they to is more specified than the implicit subject that is within the verb, because if we just were to use the verb ask, they to ask, we don't know who they two are. But if we supply the noun they to we know more, because we now know that they both must be feminine. At least the word, they don't have to be women, but they have to be well, maybe they have to be that, I'm not sure, but if there is any other word, because the feminine here represents not the biology, it's not the biological gender, but it's the word gender. So it could be so it's so word are gendered in Sanskrit. So we have masculine and feminine and neuter. Anyway, so it's more specified on with the pronoun than the verb if we are having it in third person. Alright, so let's go on. They to F, they to ask, and then, but then we have here the situation here. We have an and then the question is what is linked here. Okay, we have two clauses here. They to F ask, and the teacher knows. So what the rule is then, we have it, and always is placed after the word. So we have to switch these two here. So the and should be placed in the, because now we are talking about two clauses here, and so the and should come after the first word in the second clause here. So this is the first clause and this is the second clause. But here the problem is that the teacher is not really two words. In Sanskrit it's not two words, but in English it is. So this is stupid to, or it's not stupid, but there should be a hyphen here. We haven't. I didn't do that because this was the original English here. So, but we have. So we're just foreseeing that. So actually, the and will come after teacher, right? It will be placed there. So then the eswo will go like this. The teacher will come here. And then the and comes there, and then we have the nose. Oh, not the nose, but the he knows, like that. And they to F, then the pronoun in Sanskrit, then they to in feminine, tau te te. We have masculine, feminine, neuter. So it becomes a te. What they're doing, they're asking. Who are doing it? They too are asking. So it's prychati, some form of that. Taha. So this is the third person dual ending. Taha. Not taha or ta, but ta. Taha. Right, okay, so and then there comes the teacher, acharya. Arya. Cha. And then he knows. And this should be bodhati. Okay, and te pritchatah acharyah cha bodhati. And now we render it in Devanagari. Te prit long a cha cha, and then we have this arya, and we have the visarga at the end there, acharya, and cha. We have a o dha, t, bodhati. End of sentence. Te pritchatah acharya cha bodhati. Okay, here sits the hero. Number 3. Here sits the hero named Arjuna. So here the hero so the normally, of course, we have the a subject and a verb, right? So, and the normal. So what I'm requesting in all my exercises here is always that we make the translation into Sanskrit with the default word order of noun, object, verb. That's sort of the standard, and this is, but that's of course a simplified subject, object, verb order like that. Only 3 things. So if I write this up here, for instance, I take that in the let's do some of the color there up. So if I have subject and then object, we haven't talked so much about object up until now, but we will in a couple of lessons we will do that. But in English we can do it something like she sees him. If this is an eswo, let's talk eswo sort of. So in Sanskrit then we would have sa, and then pashati here, and then whatever form. It should not be saha, but something else, and we'll cover that in one of the upcoming videos, like lesson 13 or lesson 14 or something like that. I haven't decided exactly when, but it's coming very soon. But the idea here is simply that in this case sa is the subject, and here, or we can take it in English, she is the subject, and him, not he, not saha. Well, this shouldn't be. So it's not he. It's not that she sees he, but she sees him, and he sees her. So we have special. So this is accusative, right, in English and in Sanskrit as well. That the object of the verb. So you're seeing something, and what is that something? It's him. So it becomes accusative case. But my point here was that in number 3, the verb sits, or the verb is placed almost at the beginning of the sentence, before the noun. So here sits the hero. The hero is the subject of the sentence. Let's see if we have. So the hero is the subject. And this is the verb. And in this case there is no object in this sentence. But the thing here is that named Arjuna sort of belongs to the hero. So this is also the subject, or part of it. And all of these are so-called nominative case. This is nominative and this is nominative. And this is exactly as it is, right? So there's nothing wrong with this. This is natural. But the verb is placed last, right? So this is not what we want in the Sanskrit. Another point here is that the question is, what about here? What is that? It's an adverb, I think. It's classified as an adverb, and the rules, normally what we do here when we're talking about standard word order in Sanskrit is that we will do the adverbs before the subjects. So this is why I don't move here anywhere else. Here is always at the start of the sentence. Then for other reasons we may move it, but a good sort of starting position is in the beginning of the sentence. Okay, let's move on. Let's back to black then, and we are here. The hero named Arjuna sits, and atra viraha and I made a mistake here in terms of the eswo. Let's put this eswo here. because whenever we have the code word named, it should be enclitic. It should be placed after the name itself. So first the name and then the enclitic. So here the hero Arjuna named sits. Atra viraha Arjunaha nama sidati. Long E sidati. And in Devanagari atra long E viraha. We have the R on the top and the U on the bottom there. Long A, na, ma. And a long E again here. C, the, T. Okay, good. That's number 1 and 2 and 3, and let's go for exercise B4. Last sheet, and number 1. I know and she knows and they all F know. Alright, so we do the eswo thing here. So I, the pronoun, I know, the verb, and we put, and here we have to mark out the, well, I don't have to, but I'm doing it just to show my point here. So here we have two variants. What would I, what do I indicate here by this? Because in Sanskrit we can have two we have two possibilities. Well, or no, we don't have actually two possibilities, since we have phrases here. Okay, so we have phrases here, and those phrases oops, it's okay, I'll do this first then, and then we don't touch it. Okay, do this first and then we recover. Okay, so phrase 1, 2 and 3, and our job now then is to simply move this since we have a phrase then the and will always go here. And here then the and will go there. So they all F is one word in the English, and one word, or there's 3 words with hyphens here, but it represents one word in Sanskrit. So the and has to come after they all F. So 1 and 2 are phrases, but 3 is just one word. So which is why the first and is different than the second and in the English up here. So okay, so now we can go back to black here. I know she, but I can say as a rule here, if we were to only have a let's not complicate this anymore. She and knows they all F no. And okay, so we can let's see what I was thinking. I know. So here we can clean this up. We don't need these ones here. The I in the verb we cut. Or well, we're not going that way. We're not going to English. We're going to the transliteration here. So we're ending up at a separate pronoun, aham, and I know. Bodhami. And she as a pronoun, sa, cha. So it's bodhati. And then they all F. Ta, cha. And then that's the third person. Plural. Bodhanti. Like that. So aham bodhami long other long a, sa, cha, then we have bu, dha, ti, ta, cha, bu, dha, oh no, sorry, no, bu, dhanti. Okay, let's do that. Something like that. Aham bo dhami sa cha bodhati tahap cha bodhanti. All right. Number 2. Rama is a father. A father is a man. And here we're using syntax 2 when we are saying that we don't really want to have a verb here, because it's the is within parentheses. So what we're requesting is a sentence construction that doesn't have a verb and is of type 2 here. We want syntax 2. And what is syntax 2? It's the syntax when we flip the subject and the non-subject. And this is the, I'm talking about this in lesson 11. So you go to 11a or 11b and you will find this discussion of how to do this. But the idea is that the subject and the other word, which we sometimes call a noun predicate, or it's a non-verb predicate, so these should be flipped. So in English we typically always mention the subject first. So we know here that Rama is the subject. So let show that then. So we say that this is the subject, Rama, and this is the non-subject, father. Or we can say predicate, noun predicate, predicate. Right, so this so our job then, since we are requesting syntax 2 without a verb, we're talking about a nominal sentence, a nominal construction. So we're flipping, so then when we're returning to our eswo here, we're prepping our word order here, so then we know that we have to have a father down here. And then Rama comes here. And then I usually still put is here to just make it, to just mark out what it is. like that. So we do the similarly. We still have syntax 2 in sentence 2 here in the second part of exercise 2 here, and so we do the same thing here. A man flipping, a man, a father, is. And then in the transliteration, Roman characters, we know Janakaha, Ramaha, Asti, but within parentheses, because we know that when we'll do the final Devanagari, we'll skip it, because that is the real syntax. And a man is a Naraha, and the father once more is a Janakaha, and we have Asti here as well. And now we just render this in Janakaha, Ramaha, and then we quit the sentence there. So these are for illustration only to well, let's just skip these. Actually, I'm not. Of course, well, it serves a purpose in the first up here when we have the real. It doesn't really serve a purpose down here so much. It becomes ugly. So I'm not going to do that. So we are quitting the sentence there instead. Alright, so then we'll do the same thing here. We just simplify it. And this is I think this is the first exercise we're doing this, so bear with me in terms of getting a nice system here, because it's all about building a system to translate and to show it to students how to do it, and it's a little bit also exploration for me to see what actually works and looks good on the page before we sort of end up with the final result. So it's a process for me as well. I'm also learning, and I'm thankful for that. Okay, so, and it's also another point here, like an educational didactic point, is that there's one thing that may work like when we are doing a video, and another thing that works if we were to print like a textbook or do a textual only educational material. So it's not always that you can use one or the other like interchangeably, but we may have to modify our ways of explaining, or modify it depending on the medium, whether we're doing a video or we're doing a written textbook. And then, okay, so let's go back and complete this exercise 2 here by, what did I do wrong here? Oh, right, so we're not back. I need a B here, like, okay, good. Naraha, Naraha, Janakaha, stop. All right. So Rama is a father is a man. Janakaha, Ramaha, and Naraha, Janakaha. And number 3, last now. Here we two drink, and there they all eat. So we can start by marking out the clauses. And or switching of the and goes there, and let's return back to black then. Here we have the eswo here then. Here we two pronoun, what we're doing, we two drink. There and they all eat. Okay, and then transliteration here then. Atra, and we two, what is that? It's avam, and we two drink, so we have pibati, so we need pib avaha, and there is tatra, cha, they all what is that? Well, actually it's the same as they to f and they to n. So both the feminine and the neuter variants in the dual and the plural masculine one, all these 3 pronouns, they are the same, or no, they're not the same, but they have the same form, and it's te. And then, okay, I made a mistake over here. Just correct this. It's not really a mistake, but just to be clear, they all eat. This is the verb. So once more then, the pronoun here is is more detailed in terms of specifying the subject than the verb itself, because here in the pronoun we know now that it's a masculine gender. Alright, so atra avam pibavah tatra cha te. What they do, they are kadati, but so we're using the verb kadati, but in which form? It should be they all eat, so it should be plural, third person plural. So we have kadanti. That's what it is. And we render this in Devanagari. Here we have a long a, and then we have another long a, avam, and then we have P, ba, wa, ha, P, ba, wa, ha, tatra, cha, te, ka, danti. Atra avam pibavah tatra cha te kadanti. Or with the atra avam pibavah tatra cha te kadanti. So it's a better stressing of the clauses, so we keep the clauses together better. Okay, that's number 3. That's the last of the B exercises. We've done 6 plus 6, or 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. We have done 4 sheets of exercises, and this concludes this second exercise video for lesson 11. I hope you had a good time, and see you in the next video. Bye bye. Have a good day also. Bye bye.